Hello. I have some exciting news to share with you. My wife and I are renovating our attic. We're installing a bedroom and bathroom up there for ourselves because when you're a parent, there's no amount of money you won't pay to be slightly further away from your kids. And that will give us an entire floor of separation. So our contractor's been hard at work up there, and that itself is not the exciting news. The exciting news is what he discovered when he got up there. So before I share that with you, be sure to click the subscribe button, just because if I suddenly disappear after this news, I want you to know what happened to me. I don't know how the subscribe button will happen to that. I guess if you subscribe and there are no updates ever, you'll know I died, and it was because of this specific discovery. Okay, so here's what he found. He found this picture upstairs in the attic, hidden behind the insulation. Now he told me this is very fragile. So be careful with it. And what's the first thing I do? I came straight home and I started manhandling that picture to make a YouTube video. Because why not? It's made it 100 or so years. Let's destroy it in one glorious 5-minute video. This picture, though, it raises more questions than it answers. Like, first of all, why is this upstairs behind the insulation? My first thought is this must be the most important picture of all time. Like somebody hid it back there like a time capsule. Like this picture must last forever. But then I got thinking about it, and when is the last time you took something that you liked and you used it to insulate your house? Like, I don't think that's a normal reaction, like, oh, that's the cutest baby picture ever. Let me staple it to the wall and seal it in with drywall. I mean, that's not something people do. Also, back then, they used, like, plasterboard and lath and all sorts of stuff that, you know, was messy and causes wonderful chaos when you tear out, not drywall so much. But you get the idea. This was used as a structural element on the house. I can't imagine they liked it too much. So maybe it was the opposite. Somebody gave them that picture and they're like, oh, that's wonderful. Let me hang it up where everybody can see it. Over here, behind the insulation, sealed in the attic wall, where no one will ever go again. Like, I've got to think that's what's going on here. And I look at these people, and I wonder, did they used to own our house? Are these the people who built it? Because we've always wondered. It has all these random ornate flourishes, inlaid floors with designs and fancy columns and a fancy mantle. And we have no idea why they dumped that money into this place. Like, this person must have been kind of important. You know, substantially more important than a guy who writes jokes on the internet for a living. So I'm clearly outclassed here, but I don't know if anybody in this picture actually built this house. Like, first of all, we think our house was built just before World War I. It was when they were doing the switch from gas to electric lights, because half of our lights, they each have one fixture that's gas and one fixture that's electric. The gas was disconnected because, you know, people think we're stupid and would kill ourselves because we're stupid and we would kill ourselves. Like, we do not want gas lines running through our lights. But if you look at these people, like, these people don't look like they're in 1912 or 1914. Unless I've just grossly misunderstood fashion, these guys look like they're substantially before that era. I mean, would you want to hand one of these ladies a machine gun and send them to the trenches, which is, I assume, what they did with ladies in those days? And I think these ladies predate that. But not by too much. I mean, Indiana isn't that old. The state was founded like 2 weeks ago. I mean, American history is always very recent. But this does look like it happened a tad before 1914 or whenever. Also, there's some anomalies on here. Like, first of all, that's not our house. Like, I've looked at this from every angle trying to figure out how that could be our house with different siding and a different porch. It's not our house. It's somebody else's house. I have a picture of somebody else's house sealed in my attic featuring somebody else's family. That's not weird at all. I mean, maybe it'd be a little bit less weird if it was my house with somebody else's family sealed up there, but it's somebody else's house and somebody else's family as best I can tell. Like, maybe just a random person wandered in here like, hey, this is a good place for me to store my heirloom, and they wander away never to be seen again. I assume somebody in here was related to somebody who built the house. Also, why are all the babies faceless? Like, everybody's faces have deteriorated a little bit, but the babies are just like white ghosts. I mean, they're just blank. I assume at one point they had faces. I mean, so I can sleep at night, I have to believe these babies had faces at one point. But today they don't. So why did only the baby faces disappear from the picture? Like, maybe the details were fainter. Maybe Satan is at work here. I don't know. I don't know if I want the answer. Also, these people just seem miserable. Like, maybe they are from this house. Maybe they're secretly related to me and I didn't even know it, even though I was born states away. These people are just unhappy. And it's not like they were sitting for, you know, somebody to hand draw a portrait. I mean, this was a picture. It should have gone pretty quickly. Although now that I think about it, when I have a picture taken with my, 6 siblings or 7 kids who grew up in my family, or when I take pictures of my 4 kids, I mean, it's hell on earth. You've got to take 200 pictures to get one where everybody's eyes are open. But these guys are just sitting there for one old-timey photo. But I guess maybe people weren't really tougher back then and that one photo was too much for them. Hence the misery. Or maybe they were miserable because their babies' faces were literally melting right in front of them, and this picture is exactly what was happening. I don't know. But that's what's going to keep me up at night. So that was the exciting discovery in my attic. Now that I've manhandled this in front of the camera, I'm sure it will disintegrate into dust within the hour, so I'll have no proof that this ever happened. But you were here, you saw it, sort of. Also, I've got dust covering my hands because everything in my walls is covered in coal dust. That's how they used to heat the house because, warmth was better if somebody had to die mining the materials. It's just what they did. They didn't have nuclear power plants back then. It is what it is. But everything's covered in a nice healthy layer of coal dust. I can rub it on my face and I'll look like I actually did some physical labor today. So thank you for joining me to take a look at this creepy photo. If I disappear, you will know it, so subscribe so you can notify the authorities if there are no further updates. Thank you.